Look at this. He plays a4 against me. I mean, what am I supposed to say? He's planning this Bruce Lee openings against me. I mean, it's crazy. So imagine he plays 4 knights and all of a sudden he plays a4. I mean, okay, let's play chess. Knight bishop c5. Hey guys, welcome back on the channel, and you're about to see a spectacular mating attack by Magnus Carlsen that happened a week ago in a rapid game against Wesley So. That spectacular mate happened in a very weird opening that was seen on my channel here a month, or I believe a month and a half ago, when I played against the cheater. So did he learn from that video or not? That's gonna remain the mystery. So how did it appear? After e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, you all know this is the most common opening in practice. White went for the knight c3. At the moment it's called 3 knights, but when black goes for symmetrical knight f6, now it becomes 4 knights opening. And here you have so many options. d4 to go into the scotch. You have bishop b5, the one that I use in my practice. It's called Spanish 4 knights. You have Italian 4 knights, bishop c4, that is considered to be weak because of knight e4 by black. Magnus Carlsen used a4. If I tried to comment and to assess this move, I wouldn't be able to say for sure it's not good. It's surprising, it's a weird one, a very odd move, doesn't make much sense. And considering all these options previously seen, like Spanish version of the 4 knights, Scotch version, or just Italian version, this a4 makes no sense. But on the top of all that, he's that good that he somehow found a way to even make this a4 being very useful and somehow take advantage of it. So black went for bishop b4, very normal move. The real question is he threatening to take on c3 and to take on e4? We might say that. Also, he wants to make short castle and complete his development afterwards. So bishop d3, another weird move that goes well along with a4. So look at all these weird moves on the board. Of course, for all of you who are just like beginners at chess, don't make these kinds of moves. Don't make a4 instead of, you should just fight for the center. Don't play bishop d3 because your bishops should fight for, like open diagonals in space, not to be in front of the opponent to hit the wall. Wesley So went for d6, castles. And for the first time, Magnus Carlsen shows something tricky here. He plays knight d5, and I very much like this move. Knight d5 already consists of one very nasty trick in itself. So when he played knight d5, he just wants to force So to take on d5. That would be a very severe mistake, because he would recapture, and after knight e7, this is a very funny way to trap the bishops. After c3, bishop c5, b4, bishop b6, all of a sudden that pawn on a4 turns out to be decisive piece, and the bishop would be trapped. So knight d5. Also, knight d5 in a way solves one more problem of the position, not just goes after the dark square bishop and harasses this piece, but also he wants to open up the bishop after e takes d5. Of course, So realized this and played bishop c5, and Carlsen plays c3 in order to do the same. He wants to put a bishop back on c2 and do both, either to react in the center, breaking with d4, or to play b4, just chasing that dark square bishop away. Another normal move by So was a5, which is initially against the b4 ideas and against that harassing of the dark square bishop on c5. So bishop went on c2, and for the first time there is some light in the end of the tunnel here, because he just wants to play d4, and he finally wants to do something active and to do with the dark square bishop, even though he played that a4 and a bishop d3 move. I also have to say that the bishop d3 and c3 and bishop c2 idea reminds me on all those Ray Lopez ideas where you just want to put the bishop back, go with d4, while the bishop on c2 keeps an eye and controls and defends the pawn e4 very successfully. And here, we might say that So went for a bit risky knight takes d5. He continued to play carelessly here. I don't like this move so much. Okay, it turns out to be one of decisive mistakes in the game, and anything was normal. Like bishop g4 was fine, h6. So after d4, bringing the bishop back to a7 was fine. He had like lots of opportunities. Although he decided to take on d5. I can't blame him because after e takes d5, knight e7, I also wouldn't think of this. Of course, the most logical move and the one that he was expecting was d4 in this position. So after d4, position would be roughly equal after e takes d4, and that's what he expected. But guys, get ready for a spectacular mating attack and something really hyper aggressive. This game, believe it or not, ended in 12 moves from here, but every single move that Carlsen made in this game was so powerful, so nice, attacking, and this game could just bring you not just lots of joy, but also good attacking ideas for your future opponents and chess, especially on the king side. Magnus Carlsen all of a sudden went with the knight g5, where he threatened the pawn on h7. Take a look at this one, and I don't see anything else and anything more normal than h6. Then he comes up with another nice tempo move, d4, where he at the same time opened up both of these bishops, and the bishop pair started to breathe. And he also fights against the dark square bishop on c5. Wesley So played bishop to b6. I just have to say that the light square bishop cannot easily go into the game. Enter the game. Bishop on b6 is kind of closed, just like this rook on a8 and queen on d8. Also, the knight on e7 doesn't look that active at the moment. And this is the mastership of Magnus Carlsen, how he managed to turn that very, at first glance, sad and weird position into a stunning mating attack. So he went for the knight h7. I remind this idea with knight h7 reminds me of one game where Grandmaster Van Valley, I believe, or Grandmaster Och from Hungary beat somebody in the Nimzo Indian. Afterwards, I remember Garry Kasparov used it in one of his games in the Nimzo Indian as well. And this knight h7, it's a nice move because it goes with a tempo. And after rook e8, you can pause the video, ask yourself, how would I carry on with the attack here? If you find the next move, I really have to say you're very talented. Knight f6. Believe it or not, he went for this check. Knight f6 goes after the king and the rook. Of course, that black has to take. Why wouldn't he? He's up a piece clearly, and he doesn't take the pawn. No, he is now generating all his pieces and placing them onto the king side and threatening the pawn on h6. He threatens bishop h6, and So played e4. He also wants to buy some time in order to, so for example, if bishop takes e4, he just wants to play f5 and to get some time in like bringing his pieces and at the same time closing, for example, this bishop. But Carlsen, when it comes to these positions and these moments, is absolute, like ruthless beast, and basically he's just like Garry Kasparov once he gets the initiative. So rook to e1. He wants to do a rook lifting, and you'll see that this rook lifting decided the game. So after f5, he takes on h6. A very interesting idea is that he wants to go with a rook lifting here and rook e3, rook g3. But at the same time, he also wants to go with the bishop g5 idea, which turns out to be very nice, especially now considering the fact that he's got a great control of the dark squares, and bishop g5 would completely misplace and kind of lock all the black pieces. In the game was knight d5, but in case of knight g6, just like I previously told you, he would have gone with bishop g5. You can't play f6 because the knight is hanging. You can't play queen d7 because bishop f6, followed by rook e3. And the fun fact is that they cannot even use any of these pieces, for example, rook, to get rid of the bishop on f6. He captured on d5. Carlsen played bishop g5. This is an important move in terms of attack. So after bishop g5, knight f6 doesn't seem to be working because you can just go with a simple move like, for example, queen h4, queen h6, and so many other things. Well, the rook is gonna enter the game with rook e3, rook g3, now even rook h3. So went for f6. Carlsen played bishop e3, pinning this knight, and basically pointing out that for the rest of the game, man, you're not supposed to count on your knight anymore. He played c6 and plays rook to a3. Another nice calculating move. Another nice move where you can question yourself why. Before, probably you should have paused the video and find this move, but it's difficult because after f takes g5, he would have taken this bishop on d5, play queen g6, and play rook to h3. He would be down 2 pieces, but believe it or not, these 2 pieces are absolutely enough to make the black's king. Wesley So went with the king on f8. Carlsen played another nice move, queen g6, and this move threatens both bishop h6 and rook e3. What I like about this move, queen g6, another spectacular move, he left both of these pieces unprotected. You cannot touch this rook because of queen f7 mate. You cannot touch the bishop because of rook to h3, and the same type of the mating pattern is happening. Actually, first bishop d5, he takes d5 and rook h3. Wesley So went for f4. It's aimed against both rook g3 and rook f4, rook h3, sorry. Carlsen played bishop h6, king e7, made a nice move, queen h7, and after the only move, made it the king in the center of the board. I can't say how much I like this attack. Can you imagine that after he played 4th move a4 and 5th move bishop d3, he made such a beautiful and nice attacking game. That can be done only by the masters of this game, and he's certainly one of the biggest ever. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, you know you should subscribe and like this video.